2. And welcome to Clearwater, Florida for the final race of the American Powerboat Association season. It's the X Insurance Clearwater Nationals, the 14th annual event. The live stream here at Race World Offshore's Facebook page is brought to you by Maximum Inflation, live stream presenting sponsor. Maximum Inflation, brand CO2 cartridges, gas for everything inflatable. Since 1965, Leland Gas Technologies has made the CO2 cartridges that inflate the life jackets used daily by fighter pilots, NASA astronauts, naval seamen, the U.S. Coast Guard, and offshore powerboat racers worldwide. They all rely on Maximum Inflation's reliability when it's needed most. Recreational boaters go to West Marine, Cabela's, and Bass Pro Stores to rearm their life jackets with Maximum Inflation brand rearming kits designed for your model life jacket and approved by Underwriters Laboratories and the U.S. Coast Guard. And this year, your presenting sponsor for the X Insurance Clearwater Nationals, X Insurance. Rick Lindsay will be up flying on his chopper on the course. We'll be using camera footage as well during today's broadcast. And X Insurance is running in to help Florida homeowners again, just in part of what they do. X Insurance provides customized insurance solutions nationwide, providing commercial and personal coverage options in all 50 states. X Insurance. Call or have your agent call for more information. Homeowners, are you tired of separate policies for home, flood, and wind? X Insurance offers all-in-one homeowners options with flood, wind, sinkhole, etc., available in all 50 states, including the great state of Florida. Well, welcome again to Clearwater as we're wrapping up the American Powerboat Association National Series. Hi, everyone. I'm Todd Swafford. I'm the voice of Race World Offshore, and we're glad to have you here for the final race of the season. I'm joined by my broadcast partner once again. Join me in Marathon to kick off the season, and that, of course, is Eric Colby of Speed on the Water. Hey, Eric.
How are you? Glad to be here. Excited to see some boats get on the water.
Yeah, and we're going to jump right to bracket class racing here. As you see, bracketed boats, the X Insurance 700 class boat moving out. We're going to have rapid fire starts here in this first race. All of the bracketed boats are going to run in 2 different starts out there, Eric.
Yep, the first start is going to be the bigger, faster boats, the bracket 200 and bracket 400 boats. And this water today looks like it should be custom made for the Team Woody boat, bracket 200, for example.
And not only are we being watched globally at Race Offshore's Facebook page, but here locally in the Metro Tampa Bay area at News Talk 1040, your home of News Talk in Tampa Bay, and also FM 94.5, and it's great to have them on board with us once again. For those of you down on the beach that are listening on your radios or also following it online at News Talk 1040, powered by newstalkflorida.com, you can, of course, watch the race with your eyes from your boats or from the beach and listen to it live on the radio. And it's great to have a radio partner here in the Tampa Bay metro area, News Talk 1040. Hey, Eric, let's give everyone the lineup of boats that we're watching here in these first sets of races in the bracketed class. In bracket class 200, we have 2 boats. The US 1 244 Predator Stallman Motorsports. These boats are bracketed at 90 miles an hour. That's the big, colorful 41 yellow Apache, the 1987 build. Dean Stallman, Nate Hutt doing the driving and the throttling, and Connie Hunt navigating. They got those 2 big 1,100 horsepower express blower motor engines.
And Team Woody is the 35-foot Fountain. Very popular crew of Billy Shipley on the wheel, and Chad Woody's throttling 202 860 horsepower Keeter engines. This boat should be a rocket on these conditions today.
It'll be fun watching those two go back and forth on the course here today. In bracket 400, which is speed limited at 85 miles an hour, a team hard to beat this year, the 467 Control Freak, the 34 Phantom, a 2021 build, with driver Mark Robbins and throttleman Damon Murata. They got twin 770 horsepower Robbins performance engines.
And then the 450 Simmons Racing is a 34 Phantom as well that was built for the Factory 2 class back in the day with twin Merc Racing 500 EFIs. The driver is Jim Simmons. The throttleman is Jason Selecki out of Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri.
And rounding out Class 400, the 413 Twisted Bills. It's a 30 AMT build, and Randy Schwab and Ralph Munyon is throttling that boat with twin 300 outboards.
And this is one of the few classes where you can see catamaran against two V-bottoms, so that'll be kind of interesting to see who makes the most of the conditions.
Eric, take us to bracket Class 500.
Bracket Class 500, we have 501 TFR, X Insurance, also with sponsorship from Golf and Gator. It's a 30-foot Phantom with 650 horsepower, 540 cubic inch Chevy. J.J. Turk is the owner-driver. Michael Stancombe of Indianapolis, Indiana, is on the throttles.
Next is 5077 Power Boats, a 28 Pantera, a 1988 build. Alexander Cruz and Arthur Cruz, both from Puerto Rico, in a twin 300 XS powered vessel.
517 Bulletproof, I think they are the points leader in this class. It's a 29 Warlock. The driver is Eric Ullum. Throttles, second generation Elijah Kingry.
524 A-Game, bracket 500, bracketed at 75 miles an hour. 28 Manta, known as Sweat Equity at some of the races this year, 1991 build. Jeremy Bisson is on the wheel, and Greg DeRenzo out of Cape Coral with the twin 250 Mercs.
Number 577 Yabba Dabba Doo is a 30-foot Spirit. Driver is Larry James, and the throttleman is J.D. Irvines from Ocala, Florida.
And the final boat in that class, 6 boats running in bracket Class 500, the 528 Hammerheads SRQ. Driver is Dennis Austin, the throttleman Don Jackson, in that 29-foot Warlock with a 600 horsepower Mercury engine. Take us on to bracket Class 600. There's just one boat in that class, Eric.
Yep, they're bracketed at 70 miles an hour. Ryan Stallman is the driver of the 2011 Joker 26. He'll be on the water trying to chase down his dad in the Predator, and he's joined on throttles by Reef Delanos.
Our lone entry in the new UIM Class 3X, the X69 Scratch and Sniff. This is a 1986 Hustler. Michael Chandler and Austin Blocker on board with that 225 Merc.
Bracket 700, we've got 5 teams, and this is the boats, the little outboards powered by 300 horse outboards with a bracketed class speed of 60 miles an hour. The 720 TFR X Insurance Golf and Gator is the 22 Nitra built in Sweden with a driver Cameron Turk and throttles Robert Bryant.
The 759 Statement Marine Bad Decisions, Dalton Palestra and Jerry Hartman is your driver throttleman combination. 22 Velocity, a 1986 build with a 300 Mercury outboard.
747 is Statement Marine with the father-son combination of driver Nick Buis, throttles Owen Buis, and this is a 22-foot activator built on Long Island in 1982.
Next is Safe Cash, a 21 Super Boat built 1981. Rick Robb is your driver. Scott Jobin is your throttleman with a 300 Mercury XS.
And a new entry as far as a new team in the boat is the 700 EnergyAutoFL.com. And this is the former Punisher that was owned by Derek Dawson out of Lake of the Ozarks. 22-foot Velocity. Greg Blutter is on the wheel, and Damon Murata Jr. on the throttles.
All right, 19 boats running here in a bracketed class. We had a total of 55 boats for the X Insurance Clearwater Nationals registered. There was one scratch at the drivers' meeting this morning, and there was one addition. And we'll get you updated on all of that. But bracketed class racing, folks, it's not just entry-level enthusiasts that want to race, but we have veteran racers that are also involved in this that have been racing for decades. But they're able to put together boats that may be mismatched, Eric, in terms of equipment, but they get set into a class where they can only go a certain speed up to it, go over that speed limit, and you're going to get DQ'd from the race. They have to turn in a V-Box GPS monitoring system, which was developed by Race Logic. It logs their speed from start to finish, and that'll determine whether they broke out. So it's really delicate. You can get it right up to the speed, but if you break out for too long, you're gonna be out of there.
Yeah, you're allowed a blip, basically.
There you go.
And like Mike Stancombe, last race in St. Petersburg in the X Insurance TFR Golf and Gator, was the first time he had broken out in 30 races in Class 500. So that's one of the guys who's been doing it right for quite a long time. And I think if we're going to be looking for good battles, it could be one between them and Bulletproof, the Warlock built in California.
Yeah, the two real speedy boats here are V-bottoms. Of course, V-bottoms go back to the very roots of onshore powerboat racing when guys were starting to race competitively in the 60s and really even through the early 1980s. It was a V-bottom dominated sport. The two fastest boats you're going to see out here are V-bottoms, the big 41 Apache Predator Stallman, the big Apache hull with Dean Stallman, Nick Hunt, and Connie Hunt, and then that 35-foot Fountain Team Woody. And their boat got a lot of power. One's a little bit lighter than the other. One's got better acceleration. It's going to be fun to watch those guys walking that line up to 90 miles an hour and seeing how this race develops as it goes on today.
Yeah, the interesting thing, too, in the last race in St. Petersburg, both the front-running boats in bracket 700, the enthusiasm got the best of them, and I think they both broke out, and it gave Cameron Turk, in the second-generation racer from Cocoa Beach, his first win in that Nitra built in Sweden. And it'll be interesting if we can get a good shot of a couple of the 700 boats running down the course side by side, because that Nitra is so narrow that it looks like a little pencil coming down the water.
And there have been some boats that have been extremely dominant. That Predator boat in Class 200 has been very dominant this year at all of the national races. In Class 400, Control Freak, they've won every race that they've been to. They've just they've been out front. And in Class 500, you mentioned the Bulletproof team, Farmsworth team, 517. They've either finished first or second, find themselves in a really dominating points position going into this last race of the national season of the American Powerboat Association, the XINSURANCE Clearwater Nationals, where the U.S. champions will be crowned here today. The Class 700 boats, I think, are so fun. They're small. Obviously it's a beautiful day here in Clearwater. By the way, we have a light southeast breeze. It's barely 10 miles an hour. And, on a rough day, though, those Class 700 boats are some of the most fun to watch because you're going to get a lot of air, little 22-foot to V-bottom boats with those 300 Mercuries on back.
Yeah, a lot of respect for those guys when they get in Marathon, watching them get pounded around. It was a little bit of a physical attrition for the crew more than the boats, it seemed like. But when we talk about one of the great things about this sport is the second generation element. In like Elijah Kingery in the Bulletproof boat, his dad in the 2000s ran factory one in a 29 Fountain, and then in the early 2000s Elijah got his start in a P1 Superstock, and now they're in a Warlock built in Southern California, which was one of the better boats in factory one in its day. And they'll have a comfortable ride because they actually put the investment into suspension seats for that boat. But not too many of those, the open cockpit boats have that.
So if you're watching on the live stream, you'll see the boats on the north end of the course. This is a huge oval. They've made the laps 1/2 mile longer this year. It used to be 4.5 miles per lap. Now it's 5 miles per lap. And as we look at a shot from the XINSURANCE helicopter, there on that north end, it's a long run down the beach in front of all of the spectators, and usually a very big fleet of spectator boats line up on this course. Good shot of Predator there as you're looking on the live stream. We're going to have two starts here. They're in the milling area. We're looking for the orange smoke, which will tell the first group of boats they need to get together. And bracket 2 and 4 will come up and start first. 9 laps, 45 miles. For bracket 200, and 8 laps, 40 miles for bracket 400. Then the second pace boat will come up and grab bracket 5, 6, and 7. Bracket 5 and 6 doing 6 laps, 30 miles. Bracket 7, 5 laps, and 25 miles. So if you're new to offshore powerboat racing, you're just down to Clearwater for the first time, you'll see a lot of different boats running at the same time. They may be in different classes. We'll try and sort them out for you, let you know who's in the lead and who wins at the end of the race. And of course, we'll be counting points as the day goes on, because there are very many other classes that we'll be seeing later today, the major national classes where the national point standings are going on as well. So we'll be racing all day long, And once we get finished with bracket class racing, we'll roll right into modified V racing immediately after. But later in the day, the stock factory 450R teams will race, as well as Extreme, the Super Cats, and the VX, the big powerful V-bottom boats. And we'll end the day with the largest class of boats here today, the Super Stock class. Again, 55 boats here for the X Insurance Clearwater Nationals. Live coverage at Race World Offshore's Facebook page and on News Talk 1040, keeping you up to date and informed in the Tampa Bay area, also at FM 94.5. So we're just waiting in the milling area now, Eric, for these boats to get the go. Of course, there's a lot of other concerns, not just making sure all of the check boats are set and the patrol boats are set, but there's also marine interest, and we have friends that help us watch for the safety of manatees and turtles in the area. So that's always a very important part. Chopper up there watching, making sure the course is safe and free from any wildlife that may be out there.
Yeah, they have one helicopter dedicated for that purpose. The other helicopter is rescue and medical divers in the event that, God forbid, something happens. They will be right there to help the boat crews, and hopefully we won't even be talking about that.
Yep, so. Exactly. And what's going to be cool is for the first two starts, as we transition between bracketed boats and Mod V, they're going to actually, as this race is going on and completing, they will bring the modified V boats out on the outside of the course and bring it down through the Sand Key Bridge. And then while that race is going on, they're going to bring that boat out to the north end of the course and stage those boats so that when the bracketed boats finish up, there will not be an intermission. They will go ahead and get those Mod V boats milling and staging for the next race to start up. And then we'll have a little bit of an intermission for the choppers to get back and refuel and start up with our factory 450R race and our Extreme race. Looking right at our start-finish boat right across from our broadcast position, high atop the Hilton here on Clearwater Beach. We're down towards the finish line near Pier 60 and waiting for the bracketed class boats to get the signal to go ahead and to mill and get going. Race World Offshore pays respect to the people who serve this community in the USA, the men and women of the armed services whose reach goes beyond our waters but to around the globe. Here at the X Insurance Clearwater Nationals and all the races across the American Powerboat Association National Series, the U.S. Coast Guard provides great support with boats and personnel to ensure the safety of the teams and the public, as well as local police. And the Clearwater Police has been just tremendous here. As we see the orange smoke, that means we're getting ready to go racing. Also want to salute the Sheriff's Departments in Hillsborough and Pinellas County, as well as Fire Rescue, EMS, for all they do every day in pursuit of public safety. You're listening right here to your information station, News Talk 1040 WHBO, 94.5 FM across Pinellas and Hillsborough County, and at the Race World Offshore Facebook page. All right, this is it. Eric, the boats are going to have to come out of the mill.
Yep.
The faster boats will stay to the inside, the slower boats to the outside. The ones that we'll really want to watch out for on the second start of the smaller 700 boats, they're going to lag behind. And hopefully we'll get a good look at them when they come by for the first time here in front of the Monster Energy drink fan zone, which is there's a couple of Monster Energy buoys right here off the beach. It's right at the start-finish line, right where the fans are going to get to see the finish of these races.
Well, the interesting thing too is I really like what they did this year as far as they are starting them at the beginning, basically, of the straightaway, the inside straightaway coming down towards start-finish. So by the time they get to the turn, they'll be sorted out. They have to hold their lanes through the first turn. That's something they stress in the drivers' meetings, and this will make it easier for them to do that when they're not all bunched up.
All right, we've got a yellow flag, so the active Thunder will come around. That's our pace boat. Line these guys up. They'll stack them from inside to outside towards the beach. Again, we got bracket 200 and then bracket 400 going here.
Yeah, I don't see the Predator boat in our view yet, but they will be the ones that will be charging down the straightaway along with Team Woody. at the start of this.
Yeah, we see A game there. They're
This
on
is the second. All these boats here that you're looking at now would be in the second start.
Yeah, you're correct.
So if we could get our
We need to move
cameras on the first.
Yeah, we need to move for a little further closer to the south.
Okay, here's Predator coming on plane now. So we've got our first start lining up.
There they are.
So Predator looks like they're in lane 1. Team Woody's in lane 2.
Still got a yellow flag here.
And here comes the 400 class boats. And the
No, we're
the
looking,
catamarans all the way on the outside. So
yeah, we're looking about 2.5 miles down the course here. They'll get a good amount of time to get lined up. And when our starter feels that everybody is right where they need to be, we'll go racing.
And here's the 2 Phantom hulls this morning that would be lane 3 and 4. And Will Smith out of Sarasota, Florida, builds these boats. And I saw on Facebook this morning, today is Will's birthday. So let's say happy birthday to a guy who has supported the sport for many years.
All right, looks like we've had a green flag.
Yep.
It's time that the boats drop the throttles and we go racing. Ali Veit, your bracketed class 200 and 400 are off and running. And now the second start is coming up right behind them. So we'll stay with our leaders as they come on down. And this official lap won't actually start till these boats actually pass the start-finish boat, and then we'll be on our first lap. Right now, Predator looking good with Team Woody right to their outside as they get into the Monster Energy drink racing zone in front of the start-finish line.
It'll be interesting to see if this cat in bracket 400 packs some air and can take advantage of these conditions.
Great shot, Team Woody.
Team Woody's starting to take advantage of its better horsepower to weight ratio here over the big Predator. But people love the sound of that Predator.
This is a tough turn. You wouldn't imagine, you just don't have a lot of opportunity to get wide because you can see the roof of Pier 60 there, so it can be a little dicey, and Predator with the inside line is able to get some distance there. They've got really great acceleration in that boat with those big 1,100 horsepower blower motors.
Well, that's also a conventional V-bottom, so Team Woody is a stepped hull. In stepped hulls, you got to just be a little more careful in the turns trying to go to, because they can get upended a little bit.
All right, we see our bracket 700.
Bracket 500 boats coming through now.
500 and 700 coming through. There's Bulletproof.
And Fly SRQ and Golden Gator, X-Insurance in lane, looks like they're in about lane 3 or 4.
Yabba Dabba Doo on the outside there as they go around turn number 1. And right now that's F-17 Bulletproof.
That's Bulletproof. So these guys have battled for 2 years, really, when the boat was Team Woody Golf and Gator with Michael Stancombe and J.J. Turk. And they're just picking up where they've left off. Craig Balfato actually owns the Warlock, but he is in the Control Freak boat. And look at this action in bracket 700. That must be the Nitra out front, because that's what I talked about. Look how narrow that boat is compared to the ones behind him.
Great shot from the X-Insurance helicopter right there off of Pier 60, right from our broadcast positions. We're watching the bracket 700 guys, and when you get bracketed class racing, you get super close racing as those boats head out on the northbound leg.
And here's Predator just cruising. That's got to be the calmest ride on the water right now.
That's to the north end of the course, continuing to lead Team Woody here as we come around after lap number 1. They've done nothing but be dominant in Class 200. Now, Woody had to move into Class 200 so that they'd have 2 boats to race together. Normally, Woody's would run in Class 300 at 5 miles an hour or more in speed.
Mm-hmm. And the thing, too, with this number of boats on the course, what's going to upend them more than anything else is the wakes, especially in the turns. So they're going to have to watch that. Notice the catamaran has moved to the inside now. The Munyon, I believe, is the entry. And there's the Control Freak. So there's some strategy being played out as well.
All right, looking at our Class 700 boats.
And that's all 3 statement boats and the new entry, what I used to call the Punisher, the EnergyAutoFL.com. Looks like it's on the inside. That's the all-black boat. That is a 22 Velocity. I can't tell which statements we're looking at there. And now we're back to Predator and Team Woody. Let's see if Woody can start presenting more of a challenge to him.
They're just a little bit closer. Turn that lap at about 3 minutes and 96 miles an hour. And Woody again making up some ground there on that leg down, but now into the turn. Predator's going to have the inside line, quicker way around the course. Woody's got to go wide. Something that's important also to note is, in car racing, you may be right behind somebody and trying to drag behind them. In powerboat racing, you don't want to get behind the guy in front of you because it's dirty water. It makes the prop slip. It's not good for the attitude of your boat. So whoever's in front of you want to stay out of their wake.
Plus, you don't want your engines ingesting salt water if they're coming in through a scoop or anything. But this is a classic a classic bracket boat battle right here. We've got the two Warlocks sandwiching the 30-foot Phantom.
Yeah, it looked like Bulletproof in the lead in Class 500 and X Insurance running in second.
And as everybody says, if you make a move on someone in bracket class on the straightaway, there's a good chance you're outrunning the speed limit.
All right, look at our little 700 boats go, and man, are they a swarm.
So this should be wrapping up their first lap when they come by, correct?
That's correct.
That's their first of 5. So this is the first of the bracket 500 boats for their laps.
Yeah, they have 5 laps, and 7 for Class 200 and 400, and 4 for 700.
We'll do our best to try to keep a lap count for you guys because it's hard to follow on the live stream.
Well, we got Bulletproof in first in 500, and X Insurance Golf and Gator running in second. There's your leader in Class.
Oh, there's A-Game.
Class 200.
A-Game's just coming across your screen now. That's one of the 2 outboard, and there's Freebird, the second generation team of Ryan Stallman and Reef Delanos in Class 600 on their own.
Looking again at Class 200. We're going to get our leaders now in Class 700. We can stay on these boats as best as possible.
Yep, this is the Nitra. This is X Insurance up front. And let's see if we can pull numbers for these statement guys to make sure we know which ones are in which position.
So after lap 1, your X Insurance Golf and Gator. That's lap number 1 in the books. 3 more left to go for those guys. See if we can stay back with back to
this is
the leaders in Class 200.
So this is going to be the second lap for these guys.
That's correct. And again, those guys are still staying close. Of course, the speed limit of 90 miles an hour in Class 200.
I would think if they could, Team Woody would want to try to take that inside line at some point to shorten the course, but maybe they like the outer lane.
Well, I mean, Predator is really staying to the inside, and when this turn here, especially with the pier to your exact, to the driver's side to left, really hard to get outside. Now he's trying to dive in, not enough room there for him.
No. I'll be curious. I believe Billy Shipley, the driver, is going to join us later, so I'll be curious to hear how much he enjoyed being out there in competition, because they've been running alone the last couple of years almost in 300.
Yeah, Stallman and Hunt really turning that boat sharply there on that south end turn.
Well, those classic V-bottoms, you can just lay them on their side. And here's the AMT, which was Andy Trouth, who used to run a boat in modified class M00 with the Holstein cow paint job, and everyone would yell moo at the start of the driver's meeting when his name was called.
The 413. Now, have we seen Control Freak or Simmons come back around?
There goes Control Freak on the outer leg. I'm looking over the monitor.
Yeah, so Control Freak is running first.
Should be leading, yep.
And this Twisted Bills, the Munyon boat, is running in second unofficially.
I have not seen Simmons.
And here come your...
Oh, no, there they go. Simmons is...
They are running in second.
They're in second.
And Twisted Bill's running in third.
If I'm not mistaken, the Simmons boat, isn't that the old Twisted Chicks that used to run in Factory 2?
It sure could be.
It looks like the graphics. And here's Yabba Dabba Doo. Now we're back to the battle for the front of bracket 500. And Bulletproof is still out front. X Insurance, I don't know if they're playing that game of trying to push them to break out, or if they're just, holding their line to make their charge at the very end. Stan Combe is a wily veteran on the throttles in that boat, so let's see how this plays out.
So Bulletproof continues to lead after lap number 2 of 5. X Insurance right there with him as you see him go into turn number 1 on the the south end of the course. A beautiful day here in Clearwater. Light southeast winds.
So Yabba Dabba Doo is in third? Oh no, Hammerheads is in third.
Now from that angle, looks like X Insurance went around them on the turn.
Yeah, they went inside.
All right.
JJ dove to the inside of Bulletproof.
We're looking on the live stream now back to the south. And again, your two hot boats, the fastest boats out there, Predator and Team Woody's, as you mentioned earlier, they're trying to get to the inside.
Oh, yep. And unfortunately, one of the bracket 700 boats is down on the inside of the course right near the finish line. You'll see that when we come by if we stay with Predator and Team Woody. But now Team Woody's crossed over back again.
Yeah,
so
well, that's because they're blocking them. Yeah,
yep.
They've defended on them, and they're making them go back to the outside. So they're coming in towards the beach. They're running southbound here. Beautiful place to watch a race. Fans line the endless miles of beach here in Clearwater as they head into the Monster Energy fan zone right in front of the start-finish line. This is completing lap number 3 of 7. Still running 1-2. The Stallman Group, Predator, and Team Woody, 1-2.
I can't get a number off, but you can see just in the background of their wakes, the bracket boats that is in the infield. Looks like one of the statement boats, but hard to tell.
Yeah, Stallman just goes around there so tight. Okay, here's your leader in Class 500. Really getting them a good look at them for the first time on the live stream. They've won every race this year. The 434 Control Freak, and they're out in front once again.
And you notice that Predator and Control Freak have 3 people in the boat. They have a navigator. Usually, most of the teams don't run with a navigator anymore because of the shorter courses. But in the old days, a course was 100 miles long.
Yeah, this is a traditional setup for old style racing.
And here comes Simmons.
Yep, Simmons running in second, 404. So we saw the 700X Insurance boat come around.
Yep, in bracket 7.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the statement boats in tow again.
There's X Insurance, continually Class 700.
So is that 2 for them?
That is 2 out of 4, 2 laps of 4.
And here goes Twisted Bills for their 4. Is that their third?
They're in third place in bracket Class 400.
And that's their third lap.
That is correct.
And that used to be a canopied boat. They cut the canopy off, and now it's an open top.
Watching a little 700 boat scoot there around turn number 1.
Yep, that's the original Punisher Velocity that Derek Dawson ran for many years, and recently built himself a purpose-built one-off bracket 700 boat.
All right, there's one of the boats that's down in the center of the course.
Oh, that's the scratch and sniff boat from the X class.
The UIM Class 3X.
Okay, so that wasn't a statement boat.
This is a class they're trying to build. It's an international class.
Now here, Golf and Gator X Insurance appears to be kind of pulling away from Bulletproof a little bit.
So they've swapped leads there. Now X Insurance is in first, just 2 laps to go.
So this will
Bulletproof in second.
And this is all unofficial because Hammerhead's Fly SRQ is the other Warlock in third. But this is all unofficial because they're going to have to turn in their GPSs and Yabba Dabba Doo, staying close, could end up moving up if someone broke out because they're in fourth.
Back to your overall leader and leader in Class 200, Predator. Getting a good shot from the X Insurance helicopter piloted by Rick Lindsay and Parker Lindsay, his son, on camera.
Connie Hunt was taking a look back to see where everybody was. Okay.
There's the X Insurance Class 700 boat. We have them unofficially in the lead on lap number 3.
But I did not see a Canopy 35 fountain come by.
There they are. There they are right there. They were just they were on the outside.
Yep.
Can't seem to get anywhere close to getting to the inside and getting around Predator. Down the line, they kind of catch up to him, but in the turns, they lose ground.
I love the sound of those tractor pipes. Now the Predator has a cool sound too, though, because they're 2 into 1 on the exhaust on their boat. So they almost sound like the way the Ilmore V10s used to sound coming into Key West Harbor when they were running those in some of the different boats.
Good shot overhead of Team Woody. Yeah, from the X Insurance helicopter. So they make that turn, and now we look back all the way to the north end of the course, 2.5 miles away. So we look at our overall leader in Class 7, bracket 700.
continues to be Cameron Turk, JJ's son. So this could be, if they keep it together, father-son might both get checkered flags today.
Boy, these statement boats are hard to break apart.
Yep.
We'll do our best, folks. Predator looking so great from the helicopter shot. Thank you, X Insurance. Looking down into the cockpit of that 41 Apache.
And what's great about this is the passion that the team puts into preserving that boat and how beautifully it's restored. But now let's get a look at who's going to give chase to X Insurance and Bracket 700.
Because we're looking back as we can stay on these boats as best as possible. The Twisted Bill's coming through for their fourth lap.
Yep.
And this could be the last lap of the day for these Bracket 700 boats. X Insurance in the lead, and the statement team's boats are all right in the thick, right behind them.
Did we see the Phantoms come by in Bracket 400? Because they were leading by quite a bit over the Cat. Okay, here's the Nitra.
All right, back to your overall leaders here, Predator and Team Woody on the live stream. They just make those turns so crisply. Just keeping Team Woody to the outside. You'll see them make up a tremendous amount of ground here now.
Yep.
They'll chase them down.
They're getting light, and you can see them try and walk a little, just trying to find some speed. And now here we are with this is
X Insurance.
This is X Insurance in Bracket 500 with Bulletproof trying to track them down, and that's the Punisher boat in Bracket 700 on the inside there, the black boat.
Right. So they're running 1-2. That's EnergyAutoFlorida.com.
Yep. That's two different classes you're seeing on the screen, so they're not racing each other.
And then we see Bulletproof.
So
they were running behind X Insurance.
Yeah, this should be a white flag lap for the Bracket 500 boats.
Oh, looky there. I mean, he's still trying to get around him, but let's see what happens in the turn. As we see also the 7 Marine boat is running back a bit in the pack in Class 500. Now Woody has gotten around pretty decent. Now what's going to happen in the turn? Is he going to be able to take the line to the inside here? Sure looks like he's going to have a better shot at it. Still goes wide though. Nope.
Predator closed it back up.
Sometimes these camera angles can be deceiving.
Yep, they can.
And I think that's what it was there. It looks like the same situation as he just pulls away in the turn. They weren't quite as close as the camera angle.
You just take that old V-bottom, lay it on its side, and it just carves.
A good look at Yabba Dabba Doo.
What you got to give them credit. They're at every race.
Oh yeah.
They make the trips.
30-foot Spirit hull.
Yep. And here's
supercharged 675 engines. Control Freak. What a season for them this year.
34 Phantom. They put a lot of investment into that boat. Damon was telling me about it. And,
Robbins and Murata, 34 Phantom, 770 Robbins engines. They have won every race this year, and they're looking to continue that feat here in Marathon. Simmons Marine running back in second place behind them.
And how many laps are they running? They're running 6, right?
That's
correct. This is their white flag lap.
That's correct. So Simmons Marine back in second, and there's, I believe, your third place boat, Twisted Bills. They continue to hold down in third. Appears our lead boats in Class 700 have just made the south end turn.
Yep.
And these are the smallest, hardest to identify boats. So we'll do our best to tell you who our winners here as they come down and approach the Monster Energy Drink fan zone, right where the start-finish line is. And we'll have one finish coming out in front of you here for the local fans that are with us listening on News Talk 1040 and 94.5 FM. Looks like Woody may be having some troubles.
Yep. Woody's down
in speed. They may be dragging a drive there.
Yeah,
it's possible.
There could be something with the engine, and they had to shut down the engine itself.
Pure speculation. Tough day for Woodies.
Yeah.
All right, if we can maybe try and catch those Class 700 boats, they'll be coming down into the Monster Energy Drink fan zone to finish up their race. Looks like Twisted Bills may be calling it a day as well. And here they are coming down. somebody coming across the course there. It looks like
Yeah, A-game. Yeah, I'm not
maybe out
sure.
of the race.
They may be out, or they
Yeah,
just getting out of the way.
They're trying to get out of the way as all these.
Well,
boats.
this is a Golf and Gator on the inside in bracket 700. And here's Golf and Gator in what looks like lane 3 in bracket 500. Warlock, the bulletproof Warlock's coming up on the outside.
And the 500 boat should be finishing as well here. This should be the lap 5 of 5, and it could be a dual win for X Insurance here.
That could have been a great photo op for the family there with the X Insurance boats side by side.
X Insurance there looks like
I did
they've
not
come
see
around.
a flag though, did you?
No, did not.
No, so they've
Saw
got one.
a raised hand of victory, but 501 continues to lead. And it looks like X Insurance 700 has taken first place in Class 700, Class number 720. So we may have one more lap for 500. Overhead shot from the X Insurance helicopter, a bulletproof.
Yeah, and those are unofficial results until they clear their GPS and the officials tell us nobody broke out in the 700 race.
So these 700 boats are going around one more time. And we could have miscounted, surely.
Yeah, because we have to remember the race starts after they come down and cross that yellow buoy. So it's our first race of the day, too.
Yeah, Hammerhead's SRQ. Now a good shot of the X Insurance 700 class boat, that Nitro hull.
Yeah, there's the Hammerheads, the Warlock built out in California. I actually raced a Warlock in 1994.
Now on the live stream, Simmons Marine. They're running in second place in Class 400.
Yep.
And again, these guys should be out for their last lap of the day. Statement Marine team.
That looks like it could be the Superboat. Is that the safe cash? We'll have to just wait and see.
There's 3 boats that say Statement Marine on them. And for us, unfortunately, and for you, the fans, they're the smallest boats out here other than the Class 3X boats. Very hard to identify.
The Simmons team running well. They had they were a 2-boat team for many years, and they had an enclosed Phantom that had a little bit of an incident last year in Key West, but luckily the guys were okay, and it shows you how well built those boats are. And here comes the Twisted Bills. It says Munyon Enterprises on the side also. Brand new Mercury 300Rs on the back. So they're getting their taste of it. Never a bad way to start to actually complete your first race.
Absolutely. And when you're running with the 2 teams that have really been dominant, either finishing first or second, Control Freak winning all their races, and Simmons more or less the same. So it's a tough go. Woody's still making it a go. Looks like they're running a little bit better, whatever issue they had. Maybe they were able to fire up that engine or solve that problem. But now they're far behind the Predator.
Yeah, they may have had a clogged strainer that they were able to get unclogged or something.
There we see Predator right down, coming back down the line.
And it looks like it's Predator in lane 2, and I think that's Golf and Gator, X Insurance in the bracket 500. Coming in on the inside lane. So that should be
one more lap, I think, left for these guys.
The Golf and Gator should be
finished
here.
Absolutely. Predator will have one more to go.
Let's look for a flag for X Insurance, Golf and Gator, the boat on the inside in this shot. For fans of classic offshore boats, it doesn't get any better than this boat.
Yeah, the 41 Apache built in 1987.
Thunderboat Row, Northeast 188th Street in North Miami.
There goes Team Predator, continuing to lead in Class 200. Back to Simmons Marine.
No, that is Simmons. And
back in second place in Class 400.
Yeah, they're passing the 7 Marine boat from 500. 2 different classes racing there.
Looking back at the bracketed boats, various classes running right here, running down towards the Monster Energy drink fan zone near the finish line, running southbound across the beach.
If you remember in the drivers' meeting this morning, they said they're not going to hand out the checkered flags until the last boat finishes.
Yep.
But usually they would still wave it, I would think, so we know when a race is over.
Yeah, from our distance looking across, there's a good shot of the 7 Marine boat from Puerto Rico. They were having some issues with a lower unit and got that boat together at the last minute. Good to see them out there from the X Insurance helicopter.
Yeah, they were one of the last boats we saw out testing yesterday, and that shows you the camaraderie of the sport, that, you know, someone was able to loan or lend or rent a lower unit to them. And that's the Nitra and the X Insurance boat in bracket 700 coming around the turn at the far end of the course. It looks like they're maintaining their position out front. Now we're back on the Twisted Bills.
Yep.
And the Energy Auto Florida boat in your shot right now. And here's X Insurance flying alongside X Insurance.
Great shot there. And we go back to the X Insurance helicopter. What a beautiful boat from Sweden, the 22 Nitra.
You gotta be skinny to be in that boat. I don't know if I'd fit.
This broadcast crew is not getting in that boat. Not at all. Although it would be fun to be able to get in it.
Yeah.
We see the X Insurance Class 500 boat zooming around the outside turn. They appear to be the dominant boat in Class 500 here today, and this boat dominant overall in the Predator Stallman Motorsports team. Dean Stallman, the driver, Nate Hunt, and his wife Connie Hunt. He's the throttleman, and Connie is the navigator.
And their son Ryan Stallman, who's in the Freebird boat, got his start in offshore racing navigating for the team. They change out, and he has another son, Connor, who navigates with the team as well. So they get the whole family involved, which is very cool.
As they come back around, it's been a great day for them, no hiccups. Got a chance to sit and talk with the team as they were working on those big express engines, getting them ready for today's race. Fan favorite there. And a dominant season for them, wrapping up here with the APBA National Championship.
Yeah, I think they were Hall of Champions last year, correct?
Yes, absolutely. And here at the X Insurance Clearwater Nationals.
Well-deserved accolades for them because they had a great season last year, too.
You're watching the Maximum Inflation live stream. Presenting sponsor, Maximum Inflation brand CO2 cartridges, gas for everything inflatable since 1965. Leland Gas Technologies.
This is the A game, the 28 Manta, running in bracket 500. Looks like they're just...
Yeah, we thought maybe they were trying to get off the course. They certainly ran in front of some boats.
And here
it was very different. And we watch X Insurance come by. And I'm wondering if they reset some of these lap counts because they're running more laps than was announced at the meeting yesterday morning.
And the referees told them this morning, don't run extra laps because we're trying to keep a tight schedule.
Well,
so,
all right. Well, they just made a change and we missed it. But there's Hammerhead's Flyers RQ, and now on to the Simmons Marine team.
Yep. Here's Simmons Marine.
Yabba Dabba Doo, which we have running back in third or fourth, I believe.
I think they
class
were
500.
Fourth. And back to there's the Freebird boat on the inside, the Joker, the 26-footer running alone in bracket 600 alongside and here's 7 power boats. The 28 Pantera.
Got a beautiful day here in Clearwater, as you can well see. We're not expecting the rain. It's very light winds. You have an incoming tide all day, but it will not factor into today's race. So as race teams that are coming out later this afternoon watching, they're looking to set their boats up for a very fast race. We'll have a lot of catamaran classes coming up after our next start of Mod V's, which is going to be an outstanding race that will determine the APBA National Championship. We'll get you set on that. Here's your overall leader in Class 700, the 22 Nitro we mentioned, X Insurance.
Golf and Gator is a sponsor that is local from Cocoa Beach, where they're from, and JJ Turk, the owner of this boat, owns the La Quinta Inn over there and is a very gracious host. And here's Predator just continuing to roll along.
Just like clockwork, coming back around. Their race with Team Woody is pretty much ended Woody's back up and running good, but they had a problem that that kept them from competing here at this point. And as long as they hold things together, they'll be fine. There's the 742 Statement Marine team, the Safe Cash. So are they in second? I haven't. It's really hard to track. Definitely see X Insurance around.
Okay, so that's the 21 Superboat. That's the newest of the Statement Marine boats. And now we have, okay, so that's Bulletproof. Simmons Marine is coming up on them on the inside. And then Fly SRQ Hammerheads is the third boat that you're seeing in your picture right now. So Simmons should be second place still in bracket 400.
That's
here's Control Freak. Yep.
Control Freak continues to lead, and we haven't seen them for a couple of laps on the live stream.
And right behind them is the bracket 500 X Insurance Golf and Gator boat, right under the helicopter.
Into the Monster Energy fan zone in front of the locals on the beach and on the water at the start-finish line. Great shot. Chopper following that boat as it comes across start-finish, and I see a flag. Is that a checker flag? It is, I think. And there they are, your winners, Class 400 Control Freak.
Followed by bracket 500 winner, but that's not what's on your screen.
But that
was Golf and Gator X Insurance and 500. There's Bulletproof, and here comes Hammerheads SRQ. So pretty much the way it's been some order of those three the last year and a half.
That's bracketed class racing. If you got your race going on, but you can only go to your speed limit, you're going to stay close together. And that's the way it was with that top three. As well in Class 400, Control Freak running strong, and they were able to get around and stay in front of Simmons Racing. There comes, I believe, Yabba Dabba Doo.
Yep.
And they'll take fourth overall in bracket Class 500.
So provided if someone broke out, though, then they could end up on the podium.
All right, looking at our next boat.
This is the 7 Marine Pantera.
A group of boats coming through.
The Cruz brothers.
Thank them for coming all the way from Puerto Rico this year and racing the American Powerboat Association National Series. Showed a lot of bravery in marathon, helped rescue those racers that flew out of the bracketed boats. See some of our winners on the inside there. It looks like we've had a checker flag as well in 700. So we had X Insurance out to the front of the 720 boat, and it appears that those two Statement Marine boats, 742 and 759, were right there on the podium as well.
Yeah, it'll be
But also, I see Energy Auto Florida creeping by, I thought, and they potentially as well, were right there in the mix. That one we'll get sorted out for you as soon as we can. Certainly, hopefully by the end of today's broadcast. And
that's Twisted Bills. Just came by to finish their race, so congratulations to them on completing their first one as a team.
Take it third overall here at the X Insurance Clearwater Nationals, 14th annual event. So X Insurance 700 comes around.
720,
in the bracket class 700. And they may have just gone out to take an extra lap, or quite possibly,
we had them leading the whole race.
They were definitely up in the front the whole way. And as often is the case, sometimes you'll see these guys just maybe they actually count laps by putting strips of tape. They pull them off as they go around. Sometimes somebody forgets to pull one, and you take that extra lap to be sure. You don't want to lose anything. One of the Statement Marine boats cruising around, number 747. They turn into the infield.
That's Nick and Owen Buis. So they might have just done the same thing, because if they were running in podium position all along, one guy does something, you don't want to be the one that missed out and didn't count your laps correctly.
Yeah, and you just follow the next guy, the next one around.
Because in the older days, that was the navigator's job, was to count the laps.
Yeah, the Statement Marine teams with their velocity activator and superboat did very well out here today, as well as did the Velocity, the 700.
But this is
Energy out of Florida.
This is pretty cool. What we're looking at here is the Turk family, because this is Turk family racing, and I think they both won if no one broke out. So that's pretty cool.
Again, very important to note that their boxes, their V boxes, will be looked at by race control. This racing in particular is, it's got a speed limit to it. So all of these results today are unofficial until they're official, with this one in specific is one that is very much subject to scrutinizing and technical inspection once they get their hands on those V boxes. In terms of the way we saw it out here on the race course today, very dominant day for a couple of boats that were nothing but dominant on the APBA National Series. Look, they're handing the flag to the X Insurance 500 team.
And
great shot overhead from the X Insurance helicopter.
So you got JJ.
Control Freak. Yep. They're victorious and added the navigator to the boat, I think, there.
Yep.
They did. Someone went for a joyride today.
You know what they called that in the old days, right?
What's that?
Meat in the seat. But it was interesting because many years ago, a very famous navigator famously cost Don Johnson a race, I believe, when Kurt Russell was the navigator and miscounted the laps.
Live coverage of the X Insurance Clearwater Nationals here at the Race World Offshore Facebook page, and also on News Talk 1040 here in the Tampa Bay area, FM 94.5. Of course, lots more racing coming up here this afternoon. You're listening as well at Race World Offshore's Facebook page, which is the live stream is brought to you by Maximum Inflation, is their brand CO2 cartridges for everything inflatable, used daily by fighter pilots, NASA astronauts, naval seamen, the U.S. Coast Guard, and offshore powerboat racers worldwide. You can find their products at West Marine, Cabela's, Bass Pro Stores. Rearm their life jackets with Maximum Inflation brand rearming kits.
And now race 2 is on the course.
Getting ready to line those guys up, so we'll move from that to, again, unofficially, we have X Insurance having a pretty decent day, winning the 700 class 700, their 720 boat X Insurance, and class 500 with their 501 X Insurance Golf and Gator Control Freak, in class 400 unofficially, class 200 the Predator Stallman team. Freebird, we really didn't see Freebird. They were running unopposed. In class 600 seemed to not make too many laps, but as well they were running unopposed, as was the scratch and sniff team and that X69 team. Well, there we see our Mod V teams cruising in and getting ready for race number 2. We're going to have a shotgun start here real soon. We're going to continue to keep you going with racing action here from the X Insurance Clearwater Nationals. Todd Swafford of Whale 99 in the Florida Keys, and the Zone Sports Radio. That's where you listen to the World Championship races, as well as Race World Offshore's voice for Marathon, Clearwater, and Key West. And Eric Colby of SpeedOnTheWater.com, who will be providing us with all of the updates as you have all year long. Eric, on this race and, well, of course, the World Championships coming up. Still a lot more offshore powerboat racing to report on at SpeedOnTheWater.com.
Yep, and we will hope to have a recap at the end of today. The action. This was a good warm-up. It's only going to get better because now these boys are racing for some cash.
Yeah, there's great money in 2 classes from an unnamed benefactor. $110,000 for the national high points, the top 4 boats finishing in the Mod V class and in the factory stock 450R class, which races later today. This is a V-bottom class. Then we'll move to catamarans for the most part, although there are some V-bottoms that will be competing later on today. The winner of this APBA National Championship here today will get $50,000, and then the rest of the money is broken out between second, third, and fourth. And we have quite a race going on for the APBA National Championship Series here. Two boats are in the hot contested seat because, I mean, if they finish first or second, they're pretty much guaranteed to win the championship. And that's LSB Hurricane of Awesomeness, RevX Oil Speed Marine, and the Sunprint Hooters El Bandito Tequila team. Those two guys are really going to be going in after hot, although tremendous seasons from BoatFloater.com, Fast Boys, as well as Ladder Creep. This is going to be quite a race, and when you have an APBA National Championship, you like to see the championship decided on the water, and that's what we're going to have today. Eric, this is going to be quite a race. These boats are very well matched with each other. V-bottom racing at its best here right now.
Yeah, and the two leaders in points, different generations, but the same manufacturer of Extreme. And I believe it was Steve Miklos of Sunprint who helped Britt Lilly acquire the molds to keep building the Extremes.
Yep,
so
that is correct. So you hear a lot about Extreme, original Extreme, Extreme 1, Extreme 2, Extreme 3. Mark Page, a really impressive man, built the original Extreme boats, and
it was Spate, right?
It's correct. And and actually, BoatFloater.com is an original Gen 1. It's a 2004 hole, and but unfortunately, Mark passed away. Steve Miklos acquired those molds and got them to Britt Lilly. Britt Lilly got LSB going, and the Sunprint team was the first boat to come out of those two molds for the deck and the hull. And so he's your basic generation 2, and now it's one of the most popular hulls in this class, and LSB is spinning out generation 3s, and in fact his LSB boat right now that's on the water is one of the first ones to get out racing, but there's a whole bunch of them all lined up to come out to and race next year.
The defending world champions haven't made many appearances in this class this year, but 151 Express with Nick Imprescia and Ian Morgan are at this race to make sure that they can have the required number of starts to defend their title in Key West.
Right, so they have their Phantom back out here. We have 8 teams that were registered here. North Myrtle Beach is a scratch in this race. So they're already staged out, getting ready to mill around. We'll have our next race of the day. Here's the lineup that we've got lined up for you at the X Insurance Clearwater Nationals. And race number 2 is set to get started now that the bracketed racing is done. In the Mod V class, 9 laps here, 45 miles. And then we'll take a little bit of an intermission while the choppers go and refuel, and then we'll jump back in sometime a little bit after 1 o'clock when race 3 gets underway. And at that time, the factory stock 450R boats will come out with the one Extreme boat that's going to run. And immediately following that, the Super Cats will come out and run with the VX boats teaming up with them. And after another intermission, that should be around 2:30, the final boats will come out at 3:30 and run, and that's the biggest class of boats racing here today, and that's the Super Stock boats.